She walked away from the man who loved her. After he broke her curse, the whole kingdom called her proud again. Her parents were ashamed, but deep inside she was fighting something bigger, her heart. What she did next will leave you speechless. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Now let's dive into today's story. After Amanda said no to the wedding, people in the village started talking. She's proud again, they said. She used that poor man and threw him away. After everything he did for her, she still walked away. Even in the market, people shook their heads when they saw the palace guards pass. Some said Amanda had not changed. Some said the curse should have stayed. They believed she didn't deserve her beauty back. Amanda's parents were also not happy. Her mother didn't eat for 2 days. Her father called her into the palace hall and asked, "Why did you do this?" Amanda kept her head down. "He loved you when no one else did," the king said. "You should have thought before you acted." "I know," Amanda whispered, "but I was confused." Her father looked away. "Your confusion has brought shame." Amanda didn't sleep well that night. She lay on her bed, thinking about Papa Obina. His gentle voice, his calm smile, the way he looked at her like she mattered. Now he was gone. She walked around the palace garden the next morning, hoping he would come back. But he didn't. 3 days passed. Nothing. People at the palace no longer treated her the same. Some servants stopped greeting her with joy. Her friends stayed far from her. She sat in her room and cried, but quietly. She didn't want anyone to hear. She began to feel the same loneliness she felt when she was cursed. She went to her mother's room one evening and asked, "Mama, do you think he hates me now?" Her mother sighed. "I don't know, but I know one thing. You hurt a man who never hurt you." Amanda nodded slowly. She went back to her room and sat by the window. She watched the sky change from blue to grey. And for the first time in a long time, she wished she could go back in time and do things differently. Amanda woke up early. She hadn't slept well again. Her eyes were red and her heart felt heavy. She stood by the palace gate thinking. Then she told the guard, "Open the gate, I want to go out." The guard opened it without a word. She walked into the village slowly, wearing a plain dress and a scarf. She didn't want attention. She didn't want people looking at her face. She was looking for only one person, Papa Obina. She asked an old woman selling palm oil, "Mama, please, have you seen a man named Obina? He used to tap palm wine." The woman squinted. "That man? We haven't seen him since that palace wedding day. He disappeared." Amanda walked to another side of the market and asked again. A young boy said, "I think he lived near the bush path, beside the big mango tree." "Thank you," Amanda said and hurried there. When she reached the small house, her heart sank. The place was empty. The door was open, but the inside was dark and dusty. No fire, no food, no sound. Cobwebs hung from the corners. His wrapper still lay on a wooden chair. A cup of dry Gary sat on the floor. Amanda stepped inside and looked around. "Papa Obina?" she called gently. No answer. She walked to the back of the house, hoping to see him in the farm, or maybe sitting under a tree. But there was nothing, just silence and the wind. She stood there for a while, not moving. Then she sat on the wooden step in front of the door. Her eyes filled with tears. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "Please come back." The sun was already setting when she stood up and walked away. As she returned to the palace, people still stared. Some whispered, some ignored her completely. Amanda didn't care anymore. Her mind was somewhere else, in that empty house, with a man who gave her love when she had nothing to offer in return. And now she didn't even know if he was still alive. The sun was already high when Amanda stepped out of the palace gates. Her eyes were tired, but her heart was wide awake. She walked along the village path, not in search of food or clothes, but in search of peace. The kingdom was busy, yet she felt alone in the crowd. People were moving about, carrying baskets, selling fruits, calling out prices. Some noticed Amanda, but they didn't greet her. Some turned their faces away. Others just stared, quietly judging. Amanda kept walking. As she reached a narrow bend near the edge of the village, she saw something ahead. An old woman was bent over, struggling to carry a big bundle of firewood on her head. Her feet shook with every step, and her back was slightly bent. Amanda hurried forward. "Mama, please let me help you," she said gently. The woman looked at her in surprise. "You? The king's daughter?" Amanda nodded. "Yes, but that doesn't mean I can't carry something." Without waiting, Amanda took the firewood from her and placed it on her own head. It was heavier than she expected, but she didn't complain. The old woman smiled, and they began walking together toward the market. "You are kind," the woman said. "Many would just pass me by." Amanda replied softly, "I've done that before. I won't do it again." For a while they walked in silence. Birds chirped above them. The sound of footsteps and the breeze in the trees was all they heard. Then the woman said quietly, "Do you still love the one you lost?" Amanda didn't answer at first. Her chest grew tight. "Yes," she said finally, "more than ever." "Then why are you not with him?" "I don't know where he is," Amanda replied. "I've looked, but he's gone." The old woman nodded slowly. "Sometimes love hides where people forget to look. Destiny is tied to power, but power is not always loud. Some kings are found in silence." Amanda turned to her. "Please, where do I look?" The woman stopped walking. She pointed toward the hills in the far distance. "Go where the village ends, where the bush begins, where the trees still listen." Amanda looked out across the path. "Will I find him?" The old woman smiled. "Keep walking. You're getting close." They reached the market. Amanda gently lowered the firewood to the ground. "Thank you, my daughter," the woman said. She placed one warm hand on Amanda's cheek. "Your heart has changed. That is what matters." Then she turned and walked into the crowd. Amanda stood still, watching her go. There was something strange about that woman, the way she spoke, the way she looked into her eyes. Amanda couldn't explain it, but deep down something told her this was not just an ordinary meeting. Amanda didn't sleep that night. She kept hearing the old woman's words in her mind. "Go where the village ends, where the bush begins, where the trees still listen." By morning, she had made up her mind. She wore a simple wrapper, tied a scarf around her head, and put on flat sandals. No jewelry, no guards, no servants. She told no one where she was going. Her heart was heavy, but her steps were strong. She walked past the last compound in the village. She passed the farms. The road became narrow. Grass grew taller. Soon she was standing at the entrance of the bush path. The sun was hot, but she didn't turn back. She entered the bush alone. The path was rough. Branches scratched her arms. Ants bit her legs. Flies buzzed in her ears. But she kept going. The further she walked, the quieter it became. No voices, no laughter, just trees, leaves, wind. She stopped from time to catch her breath, but something in her heart pushed her forward. After walking for what felt like hours, she heard something. A sound, soft, weak, like a cough. She froze. "Hello?" she called out. No answer. She walked slowly, pushing branches aside. The sound came again. A tired cough. Then silence. Amanda followed it. Then she saw him. Under the shade of a large tree, a man lay on the ground. His clothes were dirty. His beard had grown long. His body looked thin and tired. He was resting his back against the tree, holding his stomach with one hand. Amanda stepped closer. It was him. "Papa Obina," she whispered. His eyes opened slowly. He looked up, confused. Then his eyes widened in shock. He tried to sit up, but he was too weak. Amanda dropped to her knees beside him. "I found you," she said, tears filling her eyes. "I've been looking everywhere." Papa Obina stared at her but didn't speak. His lips were dry. His chest rose and fell slowly. "I'm sorry," Amanda said, her voice shaking. "I was confused. I was afraid, but I never stopped thinking about you." She reached out and touched his hand. "I love you," she whispered. Her tears began to fall, one by one, onto his skin. Amanda held Papa Obina's hand tightly. His skin felt cold, his fingers were shaking, his eyes looked tired, like someone who had cried alone many nights. "I came to find you," Amanda said softly, "even when the village laughed at me, even when my parents were angry. I came." Obina opened his mouth slowly. "Why now?" Amanda wiped her face. Because I didn't understand before, I thought I was doing the right thing. But I was wrong. I was scared of loving the wrong person again. But now I know. I was only scared of losing myself. He looked away. You left me on the day of the wedding. I know, she whispered, and I regret it every single day. But I'm not here because you cured me. I'm here because you saw me when no one else did. You saw my heart. Obina closed his eyes for a moment. Amanda knelt beside him. I love you, she said again, her voice shaking. Not your gift, not your kiss. You, the man who helped me carry my pain when I had nothing. Tears dropped from her eyes, one fell on his chest, another on his hand. She placed both hands on his and closed her eyes. I don't care what the world says. I don't care what I look like. If I lose everyone again, I still choose you. Suddenly, the wind changed. The leaves above them began to move gently. A soft glow, like golden light, filled the space around them. Amanda opened her eyes. She gasped. Obina's skin was glowing. His hair grew fuller. His beard trimmed itself like magic. His old wrapper changed into fine royal cloth. His body sat up strong, no longer weak. Amanda moved back, shocked. Before her stood a man, tall, handsome, powerful. His face looked like someone born to wear a crown. Who are you? She asked in a whisper. Obina smiled, not as a poor man, but like a king who had returned to life. My name is Obina, he said gently, but before the curse, I was once a king. Amanda's hand covered her mouth in surprise. He stepped forward. Now I know something even greater. A woman's tears, when pure and full of love, can bring back what was lost. Amanda couldn't speak. She just stood there, staring at the man she loved, and the king she never knew he was. Obina stood tall beneath the tree. The sun touched his face, and the wind moved through his new royal robe. Amanda stood frozen, staring at him. He was no longer thin, tired, or broken. He looked like a king, strong, brave, calm. Amanda took a step back. How did this happen? Obina looked down at his hands, then at her. I was cursed, he said slowly, not by a stranger, not by a mermaid, but by my own brother. Amanda's eyes widened. Obina nodded. He wanted the throne. I was the rightful king of a faraway land. My father crowned me before he died. But my younger brother, he wanted power for himself. He looked around at the quiet forest. He visited a dark priest, used evil powers. One night, while I was asleep, the curse was placed on me. When I woke up, everything was gone. My body changed. My voice weakened. My people turned their backs on me. My brother told the kingdom I was cursed by the gods, and forced me to leave. Amanda's heart ached. So you had no choice. I had nothing, Obina said. No name, no crown, no help. I ran far away and lived like a beggar. He paused, then looked into her eyes. I needed to know if anyone could love me without a crown. I wanted someone who would see the man, not the throne. Amanda's voice was soft. Even when you were weak and forgotten, I saw you. Obina stepped closer. Your love broke the curse placed on me, not just with words, but with your tears, with your heart. Amanda wiped her face, but the tears kept falling. He held her hand. Amanda, you didn't just find me, you restored me. They stood in silence for a moment. The trees around them swayed gently, as if bowing. Obina looked toward the sky. But now I must return to my kingdom. My people are suffering under my brother's rule. He is cruel. They have no food, no peace. Amanda looked up at him. You won't go alone. Obina turned to her. Will your father help us? She nodded. He will. I'll speak to him. He knows what is right. Obina smiled again. Then let's go. It's time to take back what was mine. And together they began the long walk home. The sky was cloudy as Amanda and Obina arrived at the palace gates. The guards almost didn't recognize him. His steps were strong, his eyes sharp, his clothes royal. But they still saw the man who used to bring palm wine. Amanda walked beside him and said, Let us in. This is the man I love. The guards bowed and opened the gate. Inside the palace, Amanda's parents were sitting together. When they saw her enter with Obina, they both stood in surprise. The king looked closely. "Is that—" Obina bowed low. "Your Majesty." Amanda stepped forward. "Papa, this is not just Papa Obina. He is a king. He was cursed and forced to leave his kingdom by his own brother. But the curse is broken now." Her mother covered her mouth in shock. The king asked, "Do you have proof of this?" Obina nodded. "I came here with nothing before. But your daughter saw me. She loved me when I had nothing. Now I ask not for help, but for justice." He told them everything about his kingdom, his younger brother, the curse, and how his people were suffering. The king sat quietly, then stood up. "You shall not go alone. I will give you my best warriors." He turned to his guards. "Prepare the horses. We ride at dawn." The next morning, they set out. Obina rode in front with Amanda and the king's army behind him. By evening, they reached Obina's old kingdom. The people looked tired and thin. The palace looked broken. The streets were dry. But when the people saw Obina, they began to scream, "It's him, our real king." They ran to him and knelt. Drums started playing. Women brought palm leaves and began to sing. Inside the palace, Obina's younger brother was eating and drinking. When he heard the noise, he rushed out to the balcony. He saw Obina riding in on a horse, strong and royal. Fear filled his face. He tried to run, but the villagers blocked him. "You lied to us," they shouted. "You cursed your own brother." The king's soldiers stepped forward and arrested him. He begged for mercy, but the people didn't listen. Obina gave one command: lock him in the palace dungeon. Let him feel what it means to live without truth. They dragged the younger brother away and shut him deep inside the cold, dark cell beneath the palace. Obina walked up the royal steps. He raised his hand. "I left this place in shame, but today I return with truth." The people shouted and cheered. Amanda stood beside him, dressed in simple clothes but glowing with joy. She was no longer just a princess. She was now a queen, beside a king the world had once forgotten. Obina's kingdom was alive again. The drums beat day and night. The people danced. Children played freely. Women cooked big pots of food. The air was full of joy and freedom. Their true king had returned, and beside him stood Queen Amanda, not proud, not feared, but deeply loved. Amanda no longer walked like someone who needed praise. She spoke to people with kindness. She visited farms. She listened to mothers. She held babies in her arms. The same people who once feared her beauty now loved her for her heart. "She is not like before," the villagers said. "She is not proud anymore. She is truly a queen." One evening, when the sky turned soft and gold, Amanda left the palace quietly. She walked alone, wearing a plain wrapper. No guards followed her. She went down a narrow bush path, past the village trees, until she reached a small stream behind the palace, the one that ran through Obina's land. She knelt by the stream and dipped her hands into the cool water. "I don't know if you're still watching me," she whispered, "but I just want to say thank you. Thank you for everything, even the pain." The water rippled gently. Then she heard footsteps behind her. She turned. It was the old woman, the one she had helped with firewood back in her father's kingdom. Amanda stood up, surprised. "Mama, how did you find me here?" The old woman didn't answer. She walked forward slowly and stood beside the stream. Then her body began to change. Her skin shimmered like moonlight. Her wrapper turned to silver cloth. Her eyes glowed like stars. Amanda gasped. "The mermaid." The woman nodded. "Yes, I was the one who cursed you, but I was also the one who guided you." Amanda stepped back, stunned. "You... why?" The mermaid looked at her kindly. "Because you needed to fall to rise, you needed to lose everything, so you could find your real self." Amanda's voice was soft. "So the curse, it wasn't to destroy me. It was to rebuild you," the mermaid said, "and you passed the test." Amanda's eyes filled with tears. The mermaid smiled. "You helped a stranger. You chose love over pride. You found a king in the bush and gave him back his crown. You are not just beautiful anymore. You are complete." Amanda looked down. "Will I ever see you again?" The mermaid touched her hand. "I am always near. But now, you no longer need me." She stepped into the stream, and like smoke in the wind, she vanished. Amanda stood alone by the water. She wiped her tears, and for the first time her heart was quiet. Not because people were watching, not because she was loved, but because she finally loved herself. Then she turned and walked back toward the palace, toward her king, toward her home.